folks, it's Professor Malat here with your Week 12 overview. I just want you to take a look at your screen here, what you see on the screen. We are in the final several weeks, final 4 weeks actually. So we're starting Week 12, rolling into Week 13 with the rough draft due. Week 14 is Thanksgiving week. And after that is the last week of official classes. Week 15, we do have finals week where you can catch up on some missed work if you are a little bit behind. But also finals week is when you have that final essay number 4, which is a metacognitive piece. So we don't have a whole lot of time left, folks. 4 weeks and we will be done. 1 month. This is our final month, so let's make the most of it. Here we are in week 12. This week we're going to be focusing on, well, it says writing a solid introduction. If you want to get started on your intro, more power to you, but at least start thinking about a title for your paper and working on that working thesis statement. Remember that the thesis statement is essentially your answer to the question, does technology make us happy? Now, remember, it doesn't have to be the broad scope of technology. If you want to focus on something like social media or some other aspect that involves technology, or perhaps you want to think a little bit more broadly and think of examples of how technology does or does not make us happier, that's going to be your thesis statement. You're going to adopt a stance, one side or the other, where you feel a little bit more strongly. So maybe, yes, you do think that technology makes us happier in the long run, or perhaps you think that technology isn't making us happier. Again, whatever aspect of technology, phone use, social media, gaming, that kind of thing. Your thesis will answer that question, yes or no, essentially. And your thesis will also provide a few reasons why you have that assertion. You'll also this week be learning about plagiarism. There is a module that you need to work through in order to complete the plagiarism quiz. That is one of the assignments for this week. And you'll be learning how to correctly use sources in your research. And we'll also introduce a little bit more about the works cited list. The works cited list you won't have to deal with quite yet. That will come in next week in week 13 as you work on your rough drafts. But this week we're focusing primarily on plagiarism, learning to articulate a claim and support that with evidence, craft a working title and a working thesis statement that chooses a stance, and hopefully plan the organization of your research argument essay. This week, there are a few things to read in order to prepare you for the assignments that are due this week. In grammar, we're dealing with quotation marks and when to use quotation marks in titles. I figured that was an appropriate grammar topic since you are now going to be incorporating your research, and hopefully that involves things like quoting, using direct quotations, not plagiarism, direct quotations, paraphrases, and summaries. There is also the plagiarism module, why it should matter to you. This opens up to the first page. However, if you want to come back and look at the module itself, it is housed right here underneath the week 12 module. If you open up, that shows you all the pages. So that way, if you need to go back and review something before taking the quiz or while you're taking the quiz, you can go back and find the page where that was instead of having to click through the whole module. So that is the bulk of your reading this week. There are a couple of Canvas pages that I have. One is all about thesis statements. I'll click on that. There is an embedded video that you can watch. I recorded this a few years ago. If there's any mention of other assignments and it's confusing, just go for the basic information. Don't worry about anything that I might say about an assignment or a due date or anything like that. I'm pretty sure this is just a kind of a broad introduction to thesis statements, and it covers the information that is also on this page. So the thesis statement tends to be 1 to 2 sentences long. Your thesis should include a few things: a topic, your stance or position you're taking in the argument, and several points or claims that you'll be making within the body of the paper. You can then read through examples. Keep in mind not to announce in this paper, I will, blah, blah, blah. That drives me nuts. So try to avoid that. And then at the bottom of the page, there are also some formulas. And these are taken from the book They Say, I Say, which I might have linked for you in our resources page. But these are what they call templates in that book. They call them templates that can help you to craft a working thesis statement. So take a look at those examples and read this page, and that should help you a bit. I'm just going to take a look here real quick to see if the course resources has that book linked in it. I know it's one that I used to use for classes. I do not have that resource linked, but I think those templates at the bottom of the All About Thesis Statements page is sufficient to give you some idea of how you can go about crafting a thesis statement for this week's assignment. The other page is more about the works cited. So if you want to get a head start and get started on your works cited page, remember that you need to use 4 sources. One is one of the 4 foundational articles from weeks 8 and weeks 9. And then you need 3 additional sources. They can come from the supplemental sources handout, or if you're comfortable using the library resources, remember this page here with the A to Z database link, you're more than welcome to do that. You can also come over to the English composition page, and in the searching for sources, there is the search summon where you can just type in your topic and find sources that are available through the UC library system. Back to week 12. Sorry for bouncing you all over the place here. But yeah, the more about the works cited page has some handy resources for you, as well as links to Citation Machine and some videos that I have on the basics of using a citation generator, MLA citation, and then any formatting tips that you might need. And then just some basic reminders for your works cited page. I will probably repost this in week 13 and then again in week 15 so that you have that information available to you should you need to refer to it when you're working on your works cited page. Let's take a look at what the videos are for this week. Obviously, you're watching this week 12 overview. There's a helpful video that's called 10 Types of Plagiarism. Since we are primarily focusing on plagiarism, it's important to understand the various types of plagiarism that often occur. Students will often plagiarize unintentionally, or sometimes, perhaps they're trying to pull a fast one on an instructor and they accidentally plagiarize. So that's an important video to watch. I also have a lecture on attribution of sources, and this is a very important lecture. This is an additional one that if you were in class with me in person, this is the stuff that we would be talking about this week. So attribution of sources, very important information. Make sure that you take a look at that. If you want some information on how to write an eye-catching and interesting introduction, take a look at the Scribner video. It's about 4 minutes long, really short and sweet, as well as how to write a strong thesis statement. This video was linked back in the week 7 module, but if you did not watch it then, you definitely should watch it now, okay? And it's under 5 minutes, so all good information to be watching and all related to what we're doing this week. The assignments this week due on Sunday the 12th at the end of the day. Grammar quiz number 8, again, dealing with quotation marks. There are 2 readings from Grammarly. There's also an embedded video in one of those pages. So make sure that you take a look at that information. Again, you have 3 attempts to take the quiz and get the best score possible. So make sure that you take care of that. After you read through the plagiarism, why it should matter to you, after you read through that module, there is a quiz that you need to take. This quiz, and I write the note here, note that there are a mix of answer types, so be sure to follow the directions for each question. And I'll actually preview that for you so that we can take a look. Some of them are multiple choice, some of them are true and false, some of them are select all of the possible answers. Those are the 3 basic types of questions that we have in this quiz. So make sure that you pay attention carefully, read through all of the directions, and again, you can always come back and improve your score. It's an open book quiz, so if you want to have another tab open to the module, the plagiarism module, you can do that, go through it, find the information that you need, whatever your strategy is to help enhance your learning. That's fine with me. Just want to make sure that you understand the basics of plagiarism, which does include using AI generated work. I do want to give you this reminder that in my course syllabus, it's way down here at the bottom, there is a statement on academic integrity and the use of artificial intelligence. So all work submitted for this course must substantially be your own and not the work of others, human or machine. Just as you wouldn't ask another person to take an exam for you or write your whole paper, so should you not have an AI writing system, something like ChatGPT or similar systems, write your assignment for you. However, it can be a helpful tool during the invention phase when you are coming up with ideas, or provide examples of how you could best organize your essay. All drafts and formal essays are run through Turnitin, and your similarity score is visible immediately. So even though I don't completely rely on Turnitin's AI detection because it is somewhat flawed, there are aspects of AI writing that will usually make me investigate further. If you have been struggling all semester with trying to get a really good thesis statement or creating a solid introduction and have struggled with things like grammar and punctuation and spelling, and suddenly you are writing a completely mechanically flawless paper, I'm going to suspect something and I'll look a little bit deeper. If I suspect that you're borrowing from AI generated writing, and I put borrowing in quotes, that is essentially plagiarizing, I will request a conference to discuss the implications of violating the UC academic integrity policy. So I have these things linked for you so that you can actually go in and read them. So again, come to the syllabus, it's in the grading section, and make sure that you read through the UC academic integrity policy so that you understand the ramifications of plagiarizing. Borrowing the words and ideas of others without proper attribution, that is citation and documentation, is a form of plagiarism, regardless of whether you intend to do it or not. It is still a form of plagiarism. So my policy is, when something like this occurs, whether it's AI or some other type of suspected plagiarism, it's a an opportunity to have a discussion with the student and to make sure that they're clear on the policies of the university, clear on what plagiarism is, and I will give what I call the get out of jail free card. You have one get out of jail free card. If you do this consistently, it's going to be a problem, and it may mean failing the course. So it's super serious. And that's why I take the time to have you go through this plagiarism module so that you are absolutely clear on the expectations and the ramifications should you get caught plagiarizing. Okay, week 12. Once again, the final assignment is a discussion board assignment, and that is the working title and thesis statement. So you will have a working title that is come up with something other than essay number 3 or research argument essay. Come up with an interesting title. You'll also have your answer to the question, does technology make us happy? Yes or no? As well as a working thesis statement. Your thesis should be answering the question. Moreover, it should include a few points or reasons why you have chosen that position. You don't have to say, I have chosen this position because. You just write it as, social media makes us less happy because X, Y, and Z, right? And those points will then be developed into paragraphs in the body of your paper. After posting, you should respond to at least 2 classmates' posts and provide feedback on their work. Bear in mind the following questions as you respond to your peers. So think, does their title catch your attention? Why or why not? Has that writer taken a clear stance on the issue? Does the thesis have tension? Does the thesis indicate what main ideas the writer will explore later in the essay? And what could the writer improve as they revise their title or thesis for the essay? You don't have to respond to each of those questions individually. They're just there to guide your analysis and feedback. However, you should be thoughtful in and constructive in your response. So your post is due on Sunday. And then, of course, as with most discussion boards, you have until Wednesday the 15th to respond to 2 of your peers. So good luck with this. If you have any questions about the materials or what you're supposed to do, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can text me at 513-278-7886. Just let me know your name, which class you are in, and what your question is, or we can do it via email. And if you need to meet with me over Zoom, I'm happy to do that and arrange a time. I am busy on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11 to about 4 o'clock. But any other day of the week or in the evenings, I can happily meet with you if you need to meet and discuss things. So get to work on thinking about your research essay. Think about plagiarism, and read through and watch all of the materials for this week so that you can successfully complete this week's assignments. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.